Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a true rarity on the channel today. This is a killer Sudoku. That's it. There's no strange rules, nothing. It's called Seesaw and it's by Celery. And I've done many Celery puzzles on the channel before. Celery, I think, is a fellow Liverpool supporter. So I almost should rechristen this puzzle Alexis McAllister. But I won't do that. Celery. He might even approve of that. I don't know. This has got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters. And apparently is rather wonderful. So I'm looking forward to having a go at it. As I say, normal killer Sudoku, so it won't take long to go through the rules. What do I have to tell you about before that? There's a load of extra stuff at the moment on Patreon. Let me just trot through that. We've of course got our Sudoku hunt, our competition for April, which runs until the 20th, which is the James Bond themed hunt. Have I got the picture? Yeah, there we go. We've also got a bonus video from Mark in which he solves more of this new one-up puzzle. It's sort of a Sudoku variant. You might have seen his video the other day. So there's a video of that. There's my 2-hour video, my most recent video of Islands of Insight. And there was something else on Patreon as well. I can't remember what it was, but so there's loads of stuff over there. Do join us over there. It's a couple of bucks a month, and we think the extra content is well, hopefully it's good value. And then the other thing is birthdays. I need to do some birthdays. I'm going to start off by wishing Shemroy a very happy 33rd birthday from Guyana in South America. I mean, where Cracking the Cryptic gets is just, it's incredible. So Shemroy, I hope you have a great birthday today with, of course, chocolate cake. Next birthday is, I'm going to say happy birthday to Aspen. And this is from your wife, Kenzie. And Aspen and Kenzie, I know you're expecting your first baby soon. And Kenzie tells me, Aspen, that you're going to be the best dad and you're already the best husband. It's a pretty nice message on your birthday, isn't it? Aspen, I hope you have a great birthday today. Next, Chris. Chris, it's your birthday. And I know this because your wife, Kelly, son, Ethan, and the rest of the family asked to wish you a happy birthday. And apparently you are having your favourite cheesecake cake today. Cheesecake cake, indeed. I don't know if I can get behind that. If it was chocolate cheesecake, I could get behind that. But cheesecake cake, that just sounds to me to be a bit strange. So Chris, I hope you're not letting yourself down there. And I hope you have a good birthday. Erica, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your fiancé Scott wrote to us. Now, some of us know Scott better as Skojo, the fantastic constructor. Oh, and Erica, it was your birthday yesterday. I only got the message after I'd recorded yesterday's video. I'm really sorry for being a day late and $1 short. And Erica, I know you're turning the minimum sum of a 7-cell killer cage today. So have we got any 7-cell cages in this? But no, we haven't got any 7-cell cages, so we can't extrapolate from that. I will allow you to do the math if you want to work out how old Erica is. But anyway, Erica, I hope you have a great day today. And then finally, it's not a birthday, it's a 6-month anniversary to Laura and Jack. What do I need to say about that? Laura, well, the first thing I want to say is I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It could be Laura, but I think it looks to me more like Laura, so Laura probably. So I hope I'm saying that correctly. I hope you have a great 6-month anniversary. It's a good excuse for cake. And Jack, you need to get your dad into solving Sudoku on computers. Pen and paper's fine. It has its place. But if you want to do some of the puzzles on this channel, printing them out, if you're going to do colouring and things, how are you going to do that if you have to keep rubbing it out? No. Computer solving, it's the way forward. You know that. I know that. And with that, let's actually do some of that. Let's have a look at the rules of Seesaw by Celery. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box. Digits in a cage sum to the total in the top left corner if given. And digits cannot repeat within a cage. So that's it. So those 3 squares sum to 21. Those 5 cells sum to 18, etc. And you can't repeat a digit. So if this was a 1, this couldn't also be a 1, because although those 1s don't seem to break the rules of Sudoku, you've repeated the 1 in the cage, and that's too naughty for words. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, at first blush, there is very little to go on here. Really very little. I might be about to say something that's not correct, but I don't think I'm saying something that's... No, I was about to say something that's very slightly incorrect. There are very few cages, I think, in this puzzle that have any restriction at all in terms of their composition. Like any meaningful restriction. This 14 cage here is either going to be a 5-9 pair or a 6-8 pair. That is something I can tell you. There's a 9 cage there in 3 cells. Well, that's got 3 options. 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5. And 2, 3, 4. 13 cages in 4 cells, of which there seem to be 2. They have to have a 1 in them. And if they didn't have a 1, you could see the minimum they could contain would be 2, 3, 4 and 5, and 2, 3, 4 and 5 add up to 14. So they definitely have a 1 in them, these 13 cages. That 14 cage, for exactly the same reason, needn't have a 1 in it. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5. 18 cages, how many low digits does that have to have in it? It's certainly got to have a 1 in it, because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 add up to 20. So it probably has to have a 2 as well. Yes, it would have to have a 2 as well. But 3 it probably doesn't have to have, because 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 add up to 18. So it doesn't need a 3. Wow. 21 cage in 3 cells. I think that has 3 different fills, but I might be wrong about that. I think that could be 4, 8, 9, 5, 7, 9, or 6, 7, 8. I think. I might be missing one there. 17 cage. Okay, so that's going to have 1 more restriction compared to the 18 cage. This one does have to have 1, 2 and 3 in it. So I'm sensing this puzzle is something to do with low digits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 20. So this doesn't have to have, no. Okay, so what I've just said might be total and utter nonsense. Sorry about this, I am not seeing anything here at all. Whoa, 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 what is going on? Is this set or something like that? Is this some sort of set trickery? I don't know what to do. I mean, there are certain things I can see are true, but I don't think they're useful. For example, we could ask a facetious question, like how many 1s are there in row 1? And the answer to that is if we fill the puzzle in correctly, there will be 1 1 in row 1. There will be 1 1 in row 2. So these 2 rows contain 2 1s altogether. But I know that there's a 1 in there, and I know that there's a 1 in there. So the 2 1s that must exist in rows 1 and 2 are confined to those cells, which means there's no 1s in any of those cells. Similarly, in columns 8 and 9, there are no 1s in any of those cells for the same reason, or a similar reason to do with the existence of a 1 in the 17 cage and the existence of a 1 in the 13 cage. Oh, okay. So one thing we could say is in box 9, because we can't put 1s in those squares and we can't put 1s in the 14 cage, there is a 1 in one of those 3 squares. Ugh. I don't know where... Well, that's going to mean I have to take my my pencil marking out of the 17 cage. So I will put a 1 in one of those cells. But we've got to remember that that 17 cage, it needs a 2 and a 3 in it as well. The 13 cage, what if it was 1, 4, 5, 6? It would add up to too many, wouldn't it? So there's got to be more coincidence than 1 between the 17 cage and the 13 cage. They can't only have 1 in common. They must have 2 or 3 in common as well, and possibly both, because 1, 2, 3, 7 would add up to 13. Does this only have 2 fills? We know it's got, well, yeah, it's only got 2 fills, hasn't it? It's because it's got to have 1, 2 and 3 in it. 1, 2 and 3 add up to 6, which means it needs 2 more digits in it that add up to 11. But those can't be 2, 9 or 3, 8, or you'd repeat the 2 or the 3 in the box. So they're either 4, 7 or 5, 6. So that 17 cage actually is probably the second most restricted cage in the puzzle, along with this 14 cage, because this only has 2 fills and this only has 2 fills. It's not... I mean, I can see, for example, there has to be a whopping great high digit in a 14 cage. It's either got 8 or 9 in it. And 8 or 9 cannot go in a 13 cage in box 3. So the high digit that lives in this cage is in one of those 2 squares. Oh, nearly. That's nearly really interesting, actually. Oh no, it's okay. Right, no, it does work. Okay, so what I was going to say is what would happen if this was a high digit? So the 8 or the 9 that lives in this 14 cage, what if that was there? Where would that digit be by Sudoku in column 8? It couldn't repeat in this cage, so it's not here. It can't go in, whether it's 8 or 9, it can't go in a 17 cage, because the other 4 digits would have to add up to only 8 or 9, and 4 different digits, we know, add up to the triangular number 4, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10. So that digit, so if that digit is 8 or 9, that digit is 8 or 9. And that would be in a 21 cage. That feels like it's... Well, that would force the 21 cage to have a 1 in it either way. What about if that's the 8 or the 9? Then that would be an 8 or a 9. Oh, that's quite interesting, actually. Okay, so one thing I'm seeing there is it's very restricted where the high digit is in the 14 cage in box 6. It is either, if this is the high 8 or 9, it's there, that's one possibility. But if this is the high 8 or 9, it can't go here because they're in the 17 cage, so it goes there. But that would actually be very interesting, because that's going to knock, imagine this was 8. That's going to knock 8 out of this 21 cage. If this is 9, it knocks 9 out of the 21 cage. So the other high digit, the high digit that's... Well, no, this is conditional though. Yeah. So if this was a high digit, the 21 cage has to contain the other of 8 or 9. But if that's the high digit, that's whopping and high, and this 21 cage's other digits would all have to be very low. Not very low, but quite low. I think it's the low digit that accompanies the high digit that lives in the 14 cage. That has no problem going in the 13 cage, I don't think. I could put 5 or 6 in a 13 cage, no problem at all. If you put 5 into a 13 cage, the other 3 digits would add up to 8 and would be 1, 3, 4. If you put 6 in it, the other digits would be 1, 2, 4, so there would be a 4 in this. So if the digit that's not the high digit goes in there, this cage has a 4 in it. But if it doesn't go in there, it goes with its friend in one of these two. So this would be 14, this would be 14. 14 and 13 is 27. These would add up to 18 using a secret I only share with my very favourite people. I will share the secret with you, of course. If you're watching this video still and listening to me wibble on with absolutely no success, you certainly deserve to know the secret. The secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, will contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, and those digits add up to 45. So I know this box contains digits summing to 45, so if these two squares add up to 14, and those add up to 13, that's 27. So to make the whole box add up to 45, these have to add up to 18. 18 and 14 would be 32. These would have to add up to 13 and have to include a 1. But that's not even. Well, I suppose the 1 couldn't go in the 21 cage. This is rock hard. This is rock. It's not. Oh, it's not set. That was the other thought I had, wasn't it? It's not set, is it? How would we draw? I always think about set when I'm stuck and when I see 2x2s in the grid. I don't know of any sets that link those together though. I know a set that overlaps. Well, there's the Fistmafel ring. I'll just show you it quickly. I don't think it's relevant, but there is a theorem in Sudoku that states those orange cells, of which there are 16, are the exact same 16 digits that you'll find ringing the central box of the Sudoku. Let's just take a quick stare at that. Oh, that's absolute gibberish. That's not it. I just refuse to believe that that's somehow relevant. I'm not even sure. It feels like it's more likely to be about low digits than high digits, but I can't see, just because all the cages, apart from this one, have to have some, and that one I suppose, have to have some low digits, so maybe that one. I'm just completely contradicting myself. I mean, that cage has to have quite low digits in it. That one has to have quite low digits in it. That one has to have quite low digits in it. The 21 cage would have to have at least some low digits if that is a green digit. The 9 cage has to have some low digits, and the 14 cage has to have some low digits, but so maybe that's what you have to do. Maybe you've got to sort of if you put 1, 4, 5, 6, yeah, that's a bit interesting. Hang on. Let me think about this for a moment or two. What would happen if I put those? Yeah, alright, let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try this 9 cage then. This 9 cage has got to have... One thing I know about a 3-cell 9 cage is it always has to have 2 low digits in it, by which I mean 2 of the digits 1, 2 and 3. So that's mildly interesting. So there are definitely 2 low digits in here. Let's give them colours. Purple and blue. So there's got to be, whatever the low digits are that are in this 9 cage, we're going to call them purple and blue. We're going to christen them that. Now, a question that we could ask is, where are the purple and blue digits in row 9? Because I've just been thinking about this, and one thing I think that might be impossible. So purple and blue, remember, they are the digits. They're 2 of the 3 digits 1, 2 and 3. So they could be a 2-3 pair. If this was 2-3-4, if this is 1-3-5, they'd be the 1-3 pair. If this is 1-2-6, they'd be the 1-2 pair. We don't know what they are, but they're 2 of those 3 low digits. Now, what would happen if they were both there? Now remember, this 17 cage has to have all of 1, 2 and 3 in it. So these digits would be in there by Sudoku now, which would mean that they would be there at the top of column 7. So in column 7 they now would have to be up here. But that can't work. That's not possible. Because this 13 cage now could only have 1 low digit in it. In fact, that low digit would be a 1. And the other digits in this cage, which couldn't be 2 and 3, which would have to be here, would be 4, 5 and 6. And 4, 5 and 6 add up to 15 already, without including the 1. So this cage would be absolutely broken. Now, so that means it's not possible to put 2 low digits here. But it's also not possible to put 2 low digits here, because now this 14 cage is broken for exactly the same reason. This is probably the right approach, actually, because I'm suddenly feeling like I'm doing sort of seesaw-y logic. I'm sort of doing stuff here and here. That's the same, effectively it's the same question. Right, that's made me more confident that we should continue with this. So now, because if this is 2 low digits, the absolute minimum that we could make this cage add up to would be to put 1 in it and then add 4, 5 and 6 to it. And we've just seen that that's too many. That's 16. So 16 is more than 14. There is a knowledge bomb. So that doesn't work. So that means there can't be 2 low digits here. We've worked out there can't be 2 low digits here. So there is 1 low digit here and 1 low digit here. Now we haven't allocated anything. So I'm just going to say there's a blue digit there and a purple digit there. I don't know what blue and purple are yet, but I'm hoping that we might be able to figure it out. So now, okay, now we know that there's a purple digit in the 17 cage, so I know that that's there, which means there's a purple digit up there. So that means, that's quite interesting. So that means there's definitely a blue digit in the 13 cage, because the 13 cage contains 2 low digits. So the only one it's missing is the purple digit. Now we don't know if blue is 1 though, so we can't at this point say that there's definitely a 1 in the 9 cage, but it's certainly looking more likely. So okay, so what we can do now is we can say that because there's no blue digit in the 14 cage, the 14 cage must have the purple digit and the other digit that's low. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm going to call... Oh, no, I can't call it orange. I can't see orange and purple together. Grey. I'll call it grey. I don't really want to do that, but I'm going to. Or maybe yellow? Oh, yellow. No, yellow's nicer. I'm going to make it yellow. So, there must be 2 low digits in the 14 cage. I'm now christening the digit that's not purple to be yellow. Now, doesn't that mean that this has to include yellow? I think it does. Because the 3 low digits are now yellow, blue and purple. And purple can't go in here. So 1 is either yellow or blue. So if 1 was blue, then this would be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't really know what to do with that. Where is... I don't know. No, I'm shying away from the question I was about to ask. What on earth do I do now? I know that this cage contains blue and yellow, but I don't know where those digits go. Oh no, this could be totally and utterly nonsense then. Where are blue and yellow in this column? That feels a reasonable question to ask. So blue and yellow are 2 of the digits 1, 2 and 3. Well, they definitely don't live in a 21 cage. So blue and yellow live in these 3 cells. Don't know what that means. I've got a deduction. I'm going to take that out. I've got a different deduction that I've got more faith in. Where's yellow in row 9? Now, yellow is not here. That's my deduction, basically. Because if yellow was here, remember all 3 low digits are in the 17 cage. So if we put yellow there, yellow is there, and now yellow can't go in here as well, or we've got 3 yellows in 2 columns of the grid. So that cannot be right. So yellow, which can't go in here by Sudoku, can't go in here by dint of sort of Sudoku, is in one of those squares. So now I don't know actually that has that really taken us forward at all? Maybe it hasn't, sorry. Oh no. So maybe it's something to do with between the 14 and the 9 cage down here. There's 1 common digit. So there's all 3 digits, definitely, because between these 2 cages, there's all the colours. There's blue, purple and yellow, and there's 2 lots of purple. So if purple was 1, can purple... No, purple can't be 1. Because purple is not in that cage. Okay, so if purple was 2, then 2, 3, then 4 of the digits, 4 of the 7 digits in the 14 and the 9 cage would add up to a minimum of 8. And then the other 3 digits would not be allowed to be from 1, 2 and 3. So the minimum they could be would be 4, 5 and 6, which is 15. 15 and 8 is 23, which is... Hang on, that seems to be... That's weird. Is that right, or have I just totally... Have I totally floundered there? So it's very clear. It's very clear that the 9 cage and the 14 cage contain digits that add to 23. That's definitely true. I know that the low digits, there's 2 purples definitely. There's a blue and a yellow. So there's one of each. There's one of each. There's sort of which must be a 1, 2 and a 3. 1, 2 and 3 add up to 6. And then there's an extra purple which I know can't be a 1. So that means if I make that the least it can be, which is 2. Oh no, I'm wrong. I've made a mistake. Oh, that's so close to being cool, and it's not cool for a bad or naughty brain. Right. Everything I've said was correct, other than something very annoying, which is a fly in the ointment that I cannot get out of. So, so there are 4 digits, 4 low digits in these 2 cages that do sum up to a minimum of 8. They might sum up to 9, but they either sum up to 8 or 9. Which means the other digits, of which there were 3, either add up to 14 or 15. But here's the problem. They don't all have to be different. I can't treat this as a 7-cell cage, which can't repeat digits. I could have 2 4s. I could have a 4 in the 14 and a 4 in the 9. Phones buzzing. And if I had 2 4s and a 5, which would be the least other digits I could have, that's 13. 13 plus, what did we say, 8 is 21, which is a lot less than 23 bobbins. So I almost have to prove there's not another. If I could prove there wasn't a second repeated digit along with purple. But how do I do that? I know this 13 cage has got a 1 in it. I know that's blue or yellow. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think there is any pressure on the 21. There would be huge pressure on the 21 cage if that is green. Because then, if this is green and is 8 or 9, these squares have to add up to 12 or 13. And they'd have to have a lot of low digits in them. And those actually couldn't be low digits. Because these can't be yellow, purple or blue. So if that's green, these probably have to be low digits. But 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is that not working? Sorry, I realise I'm not speaking. I'm trying to do maths in my head at the same time as think about intelligent things to say, and I'm not doing very well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 22. That's okay. That's interesting. Can that be a low digit? Right. I see. Okay. No, this 21 cage is interesting because. And now I'm going to articulate what my brain was just computing, and we'll see whether my brain computed it correctly. is it possible to construct a 5-cell 21 cage with only one low digit in it? And I think the answer's no. Because if I make one of these squares a 1, and then I make the others, then I can't use a second low digit, so the other cells would be at least 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, is 22 already. Add the 1 is 23. It's more than 21. And the reason that's interesting is that means there's at least 2 low digits. I've got to put 2 colours into this 21 cage, but I can't put them here because these are not allowed. All of the low digit colours, the 1s, 2s and 3 colours, are hypothecated to those 6 cells in box 8. So these can't be low, which means 2 of these 3 have to be low. Now, can this be low? No. Because remember, the 17 cage contains 1 of every low digit. So if that's low, by Sudoku, that's low, and this square is not purple. And that would put a second low digit not in this 13 cage. It's not possible. And that means these 2 squares are both low. I was about to say one of them has to be a 1. That might not be true. But these 2 are both low. Neither of them are purple. So these squares are yellow and blue. That is a yellow-blue pair. They can't be purple. But, no. So what's that doing? I don't know. These are a yellow-blue pair. Now that digit is not that digit is in the 17 cage, but it's not there, so it's there. Right, this is interesting. That's not blue. These aren't yellow. Yeah, here we go. Here's a deduction. Right, let's call this square. I don't know whether this square is blue or yellow. I'm going to call it A. That square is A. Now A, which is a low digit, is blue or yellow, don't know which one, has to appear in the 17 cage. Where? The answer is I don't know, but it's definitely in one of those 2 squares because it's not in these 3. And that means that in this row, effectively these 3 squares, include a blue-yellow pair. And that means this can't be blue, these can't be yellow. Oh, sorry, that doesn't do anything. Oh, bother. Sorry, that doesn't do anything. I thought that was going to be really interesting. I already knew there were 2 purples, so I could have extrapolated from that one of those 3 was purple, and that is indeed the case. Maybe it's something to do with these 2 squares. Now these 2 squares can't be low. They see all of purple, yellow, and blue. This is a fascinating puzzle. It's very, very weird, but at least we're actually doing things. Now, this digit, which I will call B, that is definitely in there, but it is not purple. So B, because purple, this digit is a blue or yellow digit, I just don't know which one. So these 3 squares include 2 low digits. So now, okay, so the minimum value of those squares, which can't be low, is 9. If they were 4 and 5, the minimum value of these is 1 and 2. which is 12. And that would be good, wouldn't it? Because then that would allow that to be a 9. It sort of feels like the direction this puzzle is going in to me. I think it's... Okay. Can we... Oh, sorry. I can't see what to do at all. I thought we were on the right track a moment ago, but no. It appears I've gone onto a halt again. There's 2 low digits in there, and only 2 low digits. But I don't know whether one of those digits is a 1 or not. How do we do this then? And purple, all I know about purple is it isn't 1. It's 2 or 3. So, how on earth do we do this then? I don't know. I'm baffled. Sorry, I realise I've stopped talking as well. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here. I can't see how to do this at all. Could we... Is there something I can do with this cage? Do I know something about this cage that is somehow relevant? The answer is, I have no clue. I know it's got 2 colours in, or possibly 3 colours actually. Maybe that's a thought. Could this have all 3 colours in it? Or is there a reason it has to be different from that cage or something? Or 14 cage has to have at least 1 low digit in it, because if it didn't, it would be 4, 5, 6 as a minimum. 4, 5, 6 add up to 15. So that's really not that interesting, is it? I know these squares are a minimum of 15. These are a maximum of 6. But they do, absolutely. They do include 1. They do include 1. There is definitely a 1 in these 2 squares. Oh, that's an interesting thought. It's not some sort of weird... Oh, that's an interesting thought. Hang on, I've had another idea. One, two, 3 low digits there, 2 low digits there. That's 5 low digits. It's 5 low digits. And this must have at least 2 low digits in it. So that's 7 low digits. There's definitely a low digit in here. That's 8 low digits. Oh, no, maybe that's not it then. not sure. So sorry, what I was wondering about there is if we think of these three rows together and ask how many low digits there are, there's obviously a 1, 2, 3 in this row, a 1, 2, 3 in this row, and a 1, 2, 3 in this row. So there are 9 low digits altogether. But we know there's exactly one purple digit in those three squares. So that's 1, 2, 3. The 17 has 3 in, 4, 5, 6. This 13 has at least 2 in, that's 8. So there is either the 13 cage has another one in it, in which case there would be no low digits. The thing is, we've almost proved this already. I already know this isn't a low digit because I've got 3 colours in box 7 already. I know these aren't low digits. I know that this has 2 low digits and that's the third low digit. So those squares are all big digits. That's certainly true. But why is that helpful? I don't know. What about I'm totally perplexed by this. What is it that I'm missing? Is it the 18 cage? I don't think it is. I don't see how to use that at all. This 21 cage, that just feels completely baffling. There's probably some Sudoku trick that we can do, or question that we can ask. What could that be? Golly, I just don't know actually. Sorry if you can all see this, well done. This is not straightforward, at least not for me. How do you do this? Is it something to do with 9 is very restricted in row 1 because 9 cannot go in an 18 cage because the other 4 digits would have to add up to 9. 9 definitely can't go in a 13 cage. 9, we don't know whether there's a 9 in here or not. But 9, so 9 is in one of those 3 squares in row 1. Is that useful? Don't know. I don't know. Do we know the way to San Jose? Oh, goodness me, I don't know. I don't know what to do. The minimum sum of those 3 squares is what? Well, because we know there's only one low digit, and we know that's purple, which is not 1. So the minimum sum of those squares is 2 plus 4 plus 5, which is 11. That's the minimum sum of those. And we've got to get to 23 for the 2 cages combined. So these squares can't add up to more than 12. And we know they include, for sure, one of each low digit. So these digits, I mean, this is a terrible pencil mark, but it's true. Those digits are all, there's no high digits in there. Definitely not. because they're an absolute maximum of, well, we know there's a 1, 2, 3 triple in there, and the highest digit that the other digit could be would be 6, and that could only be the case if this was exactly equal to 2, 4, 5. So 2 would be the purple. This would include a 2. This wouldn't include a 2, and this would be a 1 and a 3. 1 and a 3 is... no, well, that means the other 2 digits in here have to add up to 9 without using 2. So they would be... so this would be 1, 3, 4, 5. But that's on the assumption that this is purple. Well, it's on a few assumptions. It's also on the assumption that this is 2, 4, 5, which it needn't be, because I could reduce the 6 here to 5 or 4. So how does that work then? Is there some other trick that we can do that would be useful? I don't know. Or is there a way that we can... Sorry. 2, and if that was 2, 4, 5, and this was 1, 2, 3, 6, then there wouldn't be a repeated digit in the 14 and the 9 cage. And if there wasn't a repeated digit, there was a repeated digit, that would go down there somewhere. If these were... it's not... oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I can't see this at all. What else could we do? It's a question. I don't have a good answer for it. There's not... we don't know more than I think we know about this cage, do we? I know this has got 1 in it, and then either 2 or 3. So if this was a 1, 2 pair, the other 2 digits... well, the other... okay. Yeah, okay, so we thought about this before. We do know that this cage here definitely doesn't have one of the low digits in it. So it's either 1, 2, 4, 6, or it's 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, 1, 3. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that cage always has a 4 in it. That's weird. Oh, goodness me, that's almost fascinating. Where's 4 in this column then? And the answer is it's in one of those 2 squares, and this would be a very nice spot for it. Because if that's 4, this is 8, 9. That probably does something. He says, desperate, trying to work out what that might be. I don't know what that does, but it probably does something. Yeah, you can get sort of interesting questions about where that digit, which would be 8 or 9, goes in this row. Because there's not an absolute multitude of places it could go. It would either be there or there. So if that's 4, suppose that, oh, actually, yeah, and then, okay, so if that was 8, 9, then one of these digits is in here. That would mean, okay, so that would mean this couldn't be the arrangement of the high green digit, because it would be, if the high green digit is in those two squares, it's knocked out of there. So if this is 4, if this is 4, that is a high digit, and that is a high digit. And that's probably important somehow. But I don't know how. Wow. How do I haven't got it. I've just realised I'm almost an hour into this puzzle and I haven't got a digit. That's absolutely shocking. Oh dear, oh dear. Is there a way we can get a digit quickly? There might be. I don't know what that way is. I don't know. Oh, goodness me, I just had an incredible idea there. Oh, am I wrong about that? Oh my goodness me, this is absurd. This is one of the most absurd digits I've ever found in a Sudoku. How was I meant to see this with any sort of how was I meant to see this quickly? I mean, admittedly, it isn't. This is not a quick deduction. I'm not certain it's right. I think it's right. If 1 is not in there, that digit. Yeah, it is right. Okay. This is the question I'm going to ask. Where is 1 in column 6? Not the first question that bumped into my brain, but let's go through the possible positions. We can agree it's not in the 21 cage, because the other two digits would have to add up to 20, and one of them will be a double-digit number at least. They can't be there, because we said there are 2 1s in row 1 and row 2, and we've already got those 2 1s, so neither of these are 1. So we've ruled out the top 4 positions. Now, it's not here, because already in this cage is a blue and a yellow digit, and blue and yellow include a 1. I don't know which one of them is a 1, but one of them is. So blue and yellow have already appeared in the 21 cage, so they can't appear again. So now we've got it down to just 3 cells left that could be the 1 in column 6, and this is the one that's impossible to see, at least for me. Could either of these be a 1? And the answer is no, because there is a 1 in the 13 cage, and there is a 1 in one of those 4 cells. And this is hard, because either this is the digit that's a 1 in the 13 cage, in which case obviously we've now got the 2 1s in this row between those 5 cells, or this is a 1. But if this is a 1, where's the 1 in the 17 cage? Well, it's B, isn't it? So it's there. So either way, you can't have another 1 here. It will be a third 1 in rows 5 and 6. So 1 is there. And does that mean? It does. That means 1 is yellow. So that's actually a thing that we've unearthed. And this 9 cage is now 2, 3, 4. because that's the only way of making 9 in 3 cells without a 1. And wow, what does that do? Does that do nothing? Does it help me to know this is 2, 3, 4? Is there some sort of restriction on this cage now? So I know this cage either contains a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 3, but not the other low digit. So let's say it's 1 and 2, then it hasn't got 3 in it, but the other 2 digits need to add up. But it can't have a massive digit in it, can it? I just don't think it can, because I think that if this had, say, a 7 in it, if this was 7, 1, 2, 4, am I going mad, or is that just... Maybe I'm just missing a trick. Sorry, yeah, I think my brain is going round in circles because I'm trying to find... I think I've got confused by my earlier thoughts as well, where I didn't want to have there be a repeated digit in the 14 and the 9 cage. And I thought I'd discovered something and then forgot that there could be a repeated digit as well as the purple digit. So I know that there is purple. I know that they can't add up to more than... I mean, when I worked out, because I know there's only one low digit in there, if one of those digits was a 7, surely that cannot work, because the minimum they could be would then be 2, 4, 7, which is already 13. And I know these 13, and what do we say we're going for? Oh no, that's fine. I'm going for 23, so why couldn't these be 1, 2, 3 and 4 then? Maybe they can be. Oh, bother, that's really thrown a fly in the ointment then. So if this is 1, 2, it could be 5, 6 or 4, 7 to complete its quota. But if this is 1, 3, it's then 1, 3, 4, 6 exactly, because it couldn't include a 2, 8, because the 2 would be down here. And all of that means that do I actually know any more than I did before? Possibly not, unfortunately. These squares have gone up in value now because they can't be 4, whereas I was thinking they were going to be 4. I think I had those as a minimum 4, 5 before. So these are at least 5, 6. 5, 6 is 11 plus 1 plus 2 is 14. These are right. That's a deduction. Wow. Okay, here we go. Here's something. This domino is now a minimum of a 5, 6 pair. So that means even if I keep these down as much as I can, make those a 1, 2 pair, those 4 cells together are an absolute minimum of 14. So that is an absolute maximum of 7. But 7 can't be my high digit in this 14 thing, so that is not the high digit. So the high digit in this box is that one, which means that one is not the green high digit. That is a green high digit. Okay, well this is good. That's got me a second digit in the puzzle. Because now, remember I specified green as being my high digit from the 14, so it's an 8 or a 9 is in one of those squares. I suppose I can do that, can't I? These are the same and they are 8 or 9. And that means that whatever this digit is, it is not in the 21 cage. And if it's not in the 21 cage, you can't put a 4 here, because that would force this to be an 8-9 pair, and one of those digits is not in this 21 cage. This is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So this is 4 now in column 7. No, nearly had a deduction there. Okay. I'd love to know now whether there's a 4 in this 17 cage, because if there isn't, we know the composition of this cage. It would have to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So hang on, these are a minimum of 5, 6, aren't they? This is a minimum of 1, 2. This is a maximum of 7. So this is 7, 6, 5. It's not 4. It's not 1, 2, or 3. Because this digit is not purple. And if it was 1, 2, or 3, its partner would be there in the 17 cage, and we get a second low digit not in this 13 cage at the top. So that is just 5, 6, or 7 actually. Is that useful? I have no idea. I have no idea. This 21 cage now, it's not 4, 8, 9. So does that mean... So if it's got 9 in it, the other two digits add up to 12, and they must be 5 and 7. But if it's got 8 in it, and no 9... Yeah, this has got 7 in it, definitely. It's either 8, 7, 6, or it's 5, 7, 9. So there's definitely a 7 in there. Which that feels like it's trying to do something. That's trying to tell me something. What's that trying to tell me? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. Don't know what it's trying to tell me. Probably something. There's a 4 in there. 2, 5, 6 would be the minimum. 13. 19. It would have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 pairs. Sorry, I'm still playing around with the numbers in these combinations of digits. I know there's a blue digit here. Do I know the nature of blue yet? I know blue is 2 or 3. So there's a 2 or a 3 here. There's a 2 or a 3 here. There's a 2 or a 3 here. It's, I mean, this puzzle, I just think, it's clearly all about low digits, isn't it? It's just very difficult to... Oh, it's not... I was just wondering whether it was low digits in this column again. I know these aren't low. I'm not sure whether it's possible to put a low digit or 2 here. I think it depends how many low digits there. I think there are definitely 3 low digits in those 4 squares. So okay, so this 21 cage then, which doesn't have a green digit in it. So this 21 cage contains 14 more digits, and because it doesn't have the green digit in it, it has sort of the other version of 14 in it. So if this was 59, this would have 68 in it. If this is 68, this has 59 in it. Which sort of feels like it might be trying to tell me something. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Or is it? I know that I might as well actually label those up. They are from 1, 2 and 3. That's definitely true. I know one of these digits is A, which is a 1, 2 or a 3. So, is that telling me something I'm meant to understand? Possibly. This digit, the thing is that might be a 7. We don't know. I'm sort of, the question I'm still trying to work out the answer to is the nature of this 17 cage. I sort of feel like I might be able to, like, what if that digit is in the 17 cage? It would have to be here, and that wouldn't be a 1, 2 or a 3, so this would be a 1, 2 or a 3. It would be the same as this. That would go up there. The other thing that would be interesting is if I could convince myself there was a 4 in that 14 cage. That would be very useful, because then I would know the nature of that 17 cage. But I don't think this has to have a 4 in it. Although I think for it not to have a 4 in it, it has to be very specific in terms of its composition. Because I think if purple is a 3, so this contains 1 and 3 but not 2, then this is 1, 3, 4, 6. And if this was 1, 3, 4, 6, that would be a 3, 4 coincidence between these. That would be a 3, 4 pair. But the more important thing is there wouldn't be a 4 anywhere in that 17 cage, and we would know its composition, which would feel exciting to me. Now, but, yeah, if this is 1 and 2 in that 14 cage, then the other digits are either 5 and 6, or 4 and 7. So is there a reason that this is not a 1, 2, 5, 6 cage? Is a question I'm interested in. 2 would be a common digit. 1, 2, 5, 6. I don't know. It looks fine. That's the problem. It looks fine to me for that to be a 1, 2, 5, 6 cage. I can't see what's wrong with that. That would put, it would put 2 down there. It would put 2 in here. It would put 2 up there. This would be 1, 3, 4, and 5. Is there some way I know what this is? Is this 5, 9 or 6, 8? Do I have a way to know that? Possibly, I don't know. Or is there a way I know what the other digit is? 5 or 6? Does that have to go in there, or could it be here? I think it could easily be there, couldn't it? Because it could either go there or there. That looks fairly okay. Or is it that digit? But that digit could go in there, presumably. Or I suppose that digit's got to be in one of those squares in box 8. Or is it... I haven't got a clue. These squares are these are massive digits. That's certainly true. So we've got a few massive digits that we've located in this column. But that digit doesn't have to be so massive it can't go in the 13 cage. I don't think, anyway. Is there some embargo on the size of these 2 digits? So if that's 5, this is 1, 2, that's 8. These have to add up to no more than 13. So they couldn't include 9. That's interesting. I don't think you can put 9 in this 21 cage anymore, because that's got too big. Yeah, you'd need that to be 5 and to include a 4 here, which you can't have because of this. Okay, so 9 in this box is in one of only 3 positions. So if 9 was here, 9 would be there, which might be interesting. If 9 was... No, we still don't know. I don't think we know what this is. No, that was a bad thought. I just had a... No. Stop having all of these terrible thoughts. Okay, some of you really like seeing it when we get very badly stuck. I now feel very badly stuck. I don't know what to do. We could... What could we do? I don't know. Is it... These add up. These 2 cells in here add up to 5. The other 2 digits are going to add up to 8. So they're going to be 2, 6 or 3, 5. Two, 6 or 3, 5. And whatever that medium digit is could go down here, or it could be there. And if it was there, this would be 7 and a high digit. 7 in this box would then be a bit restricted. Those 2 digits have to go in these squares. That's true. That digit, again, I don't know. It just depends how big it is. If that was 8 or 9, well, that's interesting. If that is an 8 or a 9, it could only go in one position in this row. It could only go there. this was 8 or 9, it would be the opposite of this. Oh, it's not going to be something. Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm completely baffled. Could we, in some way... 7, 1, 2, 4. What are you talking about? There might be a way of ruling 7 out of here. I keep coming back to that as well. Like if that's 7, 1, 2, 4, that would make this a 2, 4 pair. Is that really possible? That would make this 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 7, 1, 2, 4. Put 7 in one of those squares. No. I know this isn't 9, don't I? So 9 in this row is either there, oh, but it could be here, or it's there. Any of these things are useful, but they're not useful enough. What about that digit? Where's that digit in this box? It can't repeat here. It's not 1 or 4. So it's not there. But it could perhaps be... No, it can't be blue or yellow. So can it be that digit? Because otherwise it's got to be one of those 3 digits. And it would have to be, in fact, the other of the 14 digits, which would be interesting. That's quite interesting. Let's just have a quick think about that square. So either this square is this digit very, very explicitly. It can't be 4 because 4's in here. Can't be blue and yellow because blue and yellow's in here. So it's either this one, which would put it in one of those 3 positions, or it can't repeat in its cage. Well, it would be in one of these 2 squares. And then by Sudoku it would be one of these 3 digits, but it couldn't be the top one, and it couldn't be this one because it's next to it, so it would have to be the other one. Those 2 digits would add up to 14. Ah, and we said there 14, that would be 18, 22, 36. These squares would have to add up to 9, so this would become a 5 or a 6. And that is... Sorry if you can hear a bit of children noise in the background. It's weekend and holidays at the moment, so it's probably going to be noisier than usual. No, I don't know. There might be something there, but I can't see what it is. Right. It's not going to be something to do with... I mean, if 4 is in this 13 cage, it would have to be here. These squares would add up to 9, including a 1, so there'd be 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. This would be 4. That would be 4. 4 would be in one of these. 4 would be in one of those. 4 would be in one of these. There'd be no 4 in the 18 cage. So that would have to have... Probably then it would have to have 3 in it, I think. Yeah, it would then have to have 3 in it. And it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. I don't know what that does. But I can see if that's a 4, that's quite interesting. I am totally bamboozled. This is not an easy puzzle. Not an easy puzzle. Precious. Whatever is the low digit that's not 1 in here? That's also going to find an accommodation over here, isn't it? It's going to be there as well. So that digit, again, it just depends. It depends whether it's here or in there as to where it goes in row 4. And maybe there could be another low digit. Could there be all 3 low digits? I think there could be. Maybe. I'm not sure. It's almost interesting to ask where 4 goes in this column, isn't it? Because it can't go here. It could go here, perhaps. But otherwise it's at the top there, knocking itself out of there. Which is definitely a deduction I'd be cool to make, because then we'd know this was 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Sorry. I don't know what to do. I do know there's no 8s. I do know there's no 8 in here, don't I? I've known that forever. So 8 and 9 are in these squares. In box 7. No, that's a silly pencil mark. I don't see how I'm going to make use of that. Unless there's not something going on with these two, is there? Somehow. I can see that they're not in those positions. It depends though. If this is 9, it's probably a lot more restricted. That digit has to go in there in box 1. But they don't have to be. Oh yeah, if that's 9 then be one of those, one of those. Maybe that is interesting. Golly, I don't know. I'm determined not to let this go, though. I mean, I'm not that far away from doing it, I think. I do know there's 2 low digits here, don't I? So I've got to put another digit up here that's from the family 4, 5, 6, and... oh, not 4. 5, 6, and 7. So there's purple, there's B, which is that digit, and there's 5, 6, or 7 in here. Oh, that's quite... yeah, okay. So, in this box, where are 8 and 9? I don't know, but they are in those 3 squares, so that square is not 8 or 9. That's 5, 6, or 7 now. I mean, that's a tiny deduction, but... it's something. Does that help? Probably not. Could we put 8 in here? Did we work on that? I can't remember. I think we worked out there was no 9. I'm not sure we worked out there was no 8. If this was 8, 5, which is the least it could be, that was 6. That's 19. That doesn't work. Ah. 8, 5, 6. Yeah, you can't put 8 in here. It's too big. So 8 is also in one of those squares. That is a bit peculiar. Which means what? That means there must be an 8 or a 9 or both in this domino, because we can't put them there now. If this was 8, 9 and whatever blue is, you'd only have one space for 8 and 9 in box 8. So there's at least one of 8 and 9 in this cell, in this domino here. If we could work out there was both, if this was an 8-9 pair, that would be the green digit. This would be a 5 or a 6. So these squares now, what are they from then? They're from 5, 6. Oh no. They're from 5, 6 and 7, are they? No, that can't be right. No, that is right. So this is... Oh, good grief. So this is a 5, 6, 7 triple. I have not understood that. So this is great. If this is a 5, 6, 7 triple, that's 18. So this is a 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2 pair. And that means that B is 3. Sorry, I just need to think about this because this has probably been... You've probably all been shouting at me about this for ages. I hadn't understood this at all. So once I got this ridiculous 1 here, I could have said, this is a 2, 3, 4. I did say that. I could have then said, and I think I did say, well, hang on, this is now 5, 6 minimum, which is, so add that to 1 and 2, 14. This is a maximum of 7. And that's all fine. But what I should have done is then say, okay, but because this can't, maybe it's because this can't be 4, and is also 5, 6 or 7. I can't put 8 here. 8, 5, 6 is the minimum. 19. This can't be double 1. So these have become a 5, 6, 7 triple. This becomes a 1, 2 pair. Purple therefore is 3. So this includes 3. 3 comes down here. 3 is... but we know that 1 is in there. So this is 1 and 3. And there's no 2. So this is great. This is great. This is exactly going to get us home. Well, it's at least going to get me a deduction. Because now this is 1, 3, 4, 6 exactly. And now there is a repeated 4 and a repeated 3 in these cages. So that's a 3, 4 pair. Wow. And now there's no 4 in this cage. So there's no 7 in that cage. So this is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I don't know how to deal with that, but I'm just going to put it in and then we'll see if we can work out what that means. Now we know there's a 2 in here. So this is 1, 2, 4 and 6 to add up to 13. Now we know there's no 3 down here. Now what does this mean? Can we keep this going? Come on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Oh, I've got a 5, 6, 7 triple here. Okay, so that's... This is 8 or 9. It's not 7. So 7 only has 2 possible positions now in box 6. Because it's either exactly there, and when it's not there, this is a 7 in this box. And that seems to shove a 7 in there, which would make this a 5, 6 pair. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. So there's the high orange digit. That's the high orange digit. Look, that's quite a sobering thought. So if green was 9, this square would be 8. If green is 8, this would be a 9. Now where does that digit go here? I don't know. It's got to be in one of those squares though, hasn't it? Which is a terrible deduction. So hang on, I know these don't include 1 because they don't. The blue digit, Yeah, I see. Okay, so we're at the blue digit now, and the yellow digit are 1 and 2. So this square here, it can't be a 2 because I know the blue digit's down here. So now this is 3 or 4. That's a 3, 4, 6 triple. So this has become a 1, 2, 5 triple. That's it. There we go. Now this is not able to be 5, 9. That's 6, 8. Which means that's not 6 or 8. It means these are 8. Which means that's 9. We now know 9 is in one of those squares. We know this is now a 5, 7 pair. Sorry, let's try and tidy this up. So there's a 6 here, which means this isn't 6. 1, 2, 5. This isn't 5. It's not 6 either. That's become a 7. Look, that's a 5. That's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 5. Good grief. Good grief. Right, we know these don't include... Oh, hang on, I might have made a mistake there. I'm just going to go back up there. This doesn't include 5. It does include 6 as one of those. It does include 3, and it includes that digit, but I don't know whether that's 1 or 2. Where's 9 in this box? It's got to go here. So that's 9. There we go. That's another little deduction. I think I'm going to uncolour that 7 now, because it was the 5, 9 we were thinking was the opposite of the 6, 8 pair. Ah, look, and the other green digit did end up in that 13 cage at the top. Wow. We don't know what this cage adds up to, so I can't finish it. That digit's a 7 by Sudoku. So that digit's a 7 by Sudoku. So these digits are now known. They are 3, 5, and 9, and that's not 9. 3, 5, 9. Oh, it doesn't do it. 3, 5, 9 here. What about this column? 2, 3, 4, and 8. 4 comes out of there. 2 comes out of here, because we know there's a 2 in the 18 cage, and I now know there's a 2 in my 13 cage. So these are from 3, there's definitely a 2 in one of those squares. Remember, there's definitely a 2 in one of those, so there is now no 2 in my 13 cage, which must have another low digit, which now must be 3. So this has got 1, 3 in it, and then 2 digits that don't include 2 that add up to 9. So that's 4 and 5. 1, 3, 4, and 5. So that's a different composition to this one. Oh, and now it's got 4 in it. So that's got to be a 4. This is 1, 3, 5 triple. These squares don't... This is now a 2, 6 pair. That makes this a 2. If that's a 2, 6 pair, there's no 2 down here now. This is a 1, 5 pair. So that has become a 2, which means that's a 1. This square is a 3. Now, does that resolve our colouring or not? I have no idea. I fear it might not, you know. There's got to be a 6 on this. In this triple, the 6 is on the left-hand side of it, so these don't include that. So this was a 1, 2, 3, 4 thing, which was one of the things we thought about. 6, 8, that's 5. That's not 5. 3, 5, 2, 6, that 4 means this is an 8. That's a 3, 4 pair at the top now. Now, look, 4 is eliminated from the 18 cage. We thought that might happen, so that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, unless my maths is letting me down. So, right, so there's a 3 there, and right, we can just get rid of the 3 from those squares. There's a 3 here, so these don't include 3, otherwise there's too many 3s in the first 2 rows. So this is a 5, 9 pair. There's no 5 in those squares by our old friend Sudoku. This is going to be such a long solve. I don't know. This is one of those puzzles where I have no idea whether this is me not spotting the key ideas quickly, or whether it's just very hard. I sort of hope it's just very hard. so that I don't feel like a numpty. But oh, that's a 5 now. Now the 5 must be in this domino. Yeah, because none of these can be a 5. That means one of those is a 5. It means this is not a 5. So that's a 9, that's a 5, and that's a 5. We get loads of digits for the price of very few bits of thinking. We didn't have to waste too many brain cells on that. Right, so these squares are from 5, 8, and 9. There's a 3 here. Oh, don't get a 3 in the corner. There's no 4 up here. 1, 2, 6 triple, so that becomes a 5, that becomes a 1. Four, no, nearly. Can we do anything cool with this little selection of digits? Nah, maybe not. Okay, let's try this row, where we can put 7 and 9 into those squares, which is not going to be useful enough. We might, maybe the 14 cage now comes into its own, although I doubt it, but we'll check. Okay, so if this is 4, these two squares add up to 10, and they would either be, or they'd have the 7 or the 8 in that would have to go there, and this would have to be a 2 or a 3. Now, why doesn't that work? In fact, no, that couldn't be 3, because there's a 3 here. So there's only one. So in fact, if this is a 4, I'm now going to claim there's only one way this works, which is 2, 8. Okay, well, let's think about it in the other way around. If this is a 3, though, these have to add up to 11. But they'd have to be 5, 6. Oh, they can't be 5, 6. That's it. There's no possibility to put a 5 in there. So that's 4, that's 3, that's 8, that's 2. And that's what that 14 cage was doing all along. So these squares are 1, 4, 6. That's not 4. There's a 1, 3, 6 triple in this column now. So that's become a 2 or a 7 at the top. There's no 2 here. There's no 4 there. 1, 5, 6, and 7. So that's 1, 6, or 7. Which is possibly interesting. That being a 2 is useful. That gets me a 2 there. Gives me a 3, 4 pair here, which is not useful actually. It's not doing what it's meant to do. It's not doing what I need it to do anyway. That's no longer 8. 4 has to go there in box 5. 3 has to go there in box 5, so that becomes a 1. 1 can be removed from all of those squares, so that becomes 2, 3, 7. So we can take 7 out of the rest of the cage, which now becomes a 1, 5 pair. So that's 6, that's 7. This is now 4, this is 1. Therefore that's 3, that's 6. That's 4, that's 1. That's 4, that's 3. Oh, please just finish now, please. Believe me, you've made me feel stupid enough, puzzle. You don't have to continue to assert your superiority over me. Can we do more Sudoku now, of all things? Probably, but I can't see how. Look, there's a 4 there, so that's... Oh, I see, so the 4's been placeable in this box for a while. 2, 6, that's not a 1 in the corner. This 3 is useful. I've got to put a 3 there. That becomes 2, 7, which puts a 6 in the corner. 2 and 1. We've not put 8 into the first row. We can put 8 into box 4. 9, 8, no. 5, 9 pair we're left with down here. And these squares are 2, 7, and 8. So we can put the 8 in. But we can't. Oh, we get a 2, 7 pair in column 3. So that becomes a 6. And then we can Alright, 1, 2 and 3. Well, that's a 1 naked single. That's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 7. So that's a 7, that's a 2. And this is a 7 or a 9 by Sudoku. So that's a 9. And that's a something, a 6. And that's a 1, and that's a 5, and that's a 5, and that's a 9, and that's a 7, and that's a 7, and that's a 9, and that's a 2, and that's a 6. Good grief. And this is a 6-9 pair. Please be right. That has one of... That is... Let's see if it's right. It is right. 100 minutes. 32 people have solved it in a long time. 119 days. Wow. That was very, very difficult. I think I must have missed an idea. What was that? Well, or was it this? So yeah, that was really the critical thing I missed, wasn't it? That there was a once. How could I have seen that more efficiently? It was not easy, at least for me. That 21 cage is magical because we worked out loads of things about it, but I never quite understood at the right moment that it couldn't have 8 or 9 in it. So the moment I got this, I could see there was no 9, but I should have seen there was no 8. But the reason there was no 8 in here, 8, 5, 1, 2, would have been 16 and would have allowed... Yeah, you see, if that could have been a 4 at that moment, I would still not have been ruled out. So I still needed to have the thought about 4 in this column only being able to be in one of those two positions. But having had that thought, perhaps then I could have got this. I could have got to the bottom of this 21 cage more quickly. That is a very interesting puzzle, and I wouldn't be astonished to find that there was a simpler idea than that 21 cage to figure it out. Yeah, that's one of the solves. I'm sorry. Sometimes, obviously, we're live solving on the channel, and sometimes we don't see the ideas quickly. And I definitely feel that this one, it just kept skirting the other side of my conscious mind. So I'm sorry it's taken so much of your time this evening. I just ask you to be kind with the comments. I feel this was probably less than brilliant, but it's a brilliant puzzle. I mean, Celery deserves credit because it's an incredibly tightly designed thing. It must be about the positions of the low digits, but you still had to be so careful in terms of uncovering the logic. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful idea. And as I say, I'd be interested to know whether people think I've been a bit dim on this one, or whether it's just very hard. Let me know. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.